Before the opening bell, U.S. indices closed higher on Wednesday as the Federal Reserve signaled policy easing. The Nasdaq climbed to a record high. The Dow Jones and the S&P 500 posted intraday record highs before easing back, while shares in energy, media, and food, beverage, and tobacco sectors, they led gains. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell reaffirmed during his congressional testimony that the Fed would act as appropriate to sustain the expansion, citing increased uncertainties about the economic outlook and muted inflation pressures. On the other hand, the latest Fed's FOMC meeting minutes showed that many participants indicated that the case for somewhat more accommodative policy had strengthened. This all as 54% of S&P 500 constituents traded higher yesterday. Now, after the markets closed, Parker Hannifin downgraded to market perform from outperform at Wells Fargo, while turning overseas. Asian markets mostly higher today. The Nikkei up 0.51%, the Hang Seng rising 0.81%, China's CSI 300 down 0.04%, South Korea's Kospi up 1.06%. European markets consolidating and futures calling for a slightly positive start. Now, in terms of expectations today, Delta Airlines second quarter EPS seen at $2.28 on sales of approximately $12.5 billion. Fastenal second quarter EPS seen at 37 cents on sales of approximately $1.4 billion. While on the economic docket, 7 o'clock in the morning, we have the MBA 30-year mortgage rate. We also have the mortgage applications for the MBA. 10 o'clock in the morning sees the testimony from Fed Chair Jerome Powell, as well as May wholesale inventories, while this afternoon we have the FOMC minutes. Turning over to the markets, the S&P 500 is where we begin. That sees an intraday level of 3,017 in sight, while the Nasdaq moves towards 8,035, and that's in focus as the relative strength index is bullish and calls for further advance. Long positions above 79.05 are favored, with targets at 8,000 and 8,035 in extension, while the Dow Jones aiming at 27,045.